I never really liked Panerai watches, but I want to give them some serious consideration to see if I've been wrong. In this video, I'll review all four of their watch collections and discuss what I like and what I don't like. Stay tuned to the end of the video where I'll summarize any watches I might consider, and you can tell me if you think I'm wrong or missing something. That's right, I said it. I don't like Panerai watches. It's nothing to do with their quality or the price of their watches. It's all about the design. This is not something new for me. I haven't liked them since the first time I saw them as a watch collector. And I don't like them now that I've been collecting for over 2.5 years. But to be fair, I haven't examined the Panerai catalog in any great detail, and I haven't tried one on my wrist. So in this episode of Adventures with Time, I'm going to look through the four collections of watches that Panerai offers today to see if I changed my mind. By the way, I've found that doing this type of review of a brand and its watch collections provides me with a good foundation into the brand. I do a quick review of the brand history and then examine each collection, identifying its theme and scope of watches. And doing this for a video forces me to do a thorough job. I'll be linking these brand overview videos in a special playlist on my channel. If this is something that interests you, please subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so you're notified whenever I publish a new video. As I like to do with these watch brand inspections, let's take the briefest of looks at the history of Panerai. Panerai was started in 1860 by Giovanni Panerai in Florence, Italy. In 1936, they produced the first prototype of their Radiomir watch for the Royal Italian Navy, which had a production run from 1938 through 1993. After the end of World War II, the Luminor line was introduced in 1949 with that crown protection bridge. And then in 1997, Panerai was purchased by the Richemont Group. In 2005, Panerai introduced their first in-house movement, and in 2014 opened its new manufacturing location in Pierre-Abat, Switzerland. Now let's review the four major collections of Panerai, and I'll be ignoring the set of special edition watches they offer. First up is the Submersible collection, and as the name suggests, these are sports watches, specifically watches with the traditional dive bezel to track dive time. They come in two sizes, either 42 or 47 millimeters, and a variety of compositions including stainless steel, bronze, gold, a gold composition called Gold-Tech, and a carbon composite called Carbotech. Virtually all have a depth rating of 300 meters, even those with a chronograph. Of course, the two most notable features of these watches are the cushion case style, also called a squircle shape, being an intermediate between a square and a circle, and their crown protection bridge. In fact, the cushion case is used by all watches in their standard catalog. So if you're not a fan, Panerai is not for you. But it's the crown guard system that is the major turnoff for me with Panerai. To me, they give a watch too much of an industrial look, especially with that stamping of Reg TM on the guard. Yes, these are divers, which are tool watches. However, this feature is very distracting and becomes the focus of the watch, not something I find appealing. Again, this is just my opinion, and I encourage others to weigh in here. The Luminor collection includes watches that are very similar to those of the Submersible collection, with the differences being that the Luminor watches don't have the dive timing bezel. This does give them a more refined and stylish look. However, that appeal gets ruined for me in that these two include the crown protecting bridge. The Luminor collection includes watches sized at 42, 44, and 47 millimeters, and a variety of case compositions. Complications include a GMT, chronograph, or power reserve features. In fact, there are over 70 models in this collection, the largest of any of the Panerai collections. The Luminor Due collection carries on the traits of the Luminor collection, but intended to portray greater elegance reminiscent of the 1950s with slimmer cases. Yet again, all of these watches include that Panerai crown protection system, somewhat the antithesis of elegance and refinement in my mind. Finally, we come to the Radiomir. These watches use the typical Panerai cushion case, but here we have watches without any crown guard, which are more in tune to my liking. Looking through this collection, we see watches of 42, 45, and 47 millimeters in various case compositions, but with basic functionality of time only and maybe a power reserve indicator. Now, I went into this examination thinking that I don't like Panerai. Have I changed my mind? Clearly, I don't like any of the watches with that crown protection system. I think these crown guards might be a polarizing design element. That is, you either hate them or you really like them. And the cushion case might turn some people off, but I'm not sure yet. So after this deeper review into Panerai, is there a watch I would consider? Well, yes. I can see myself liking one of the Radiomir watches in 42 millimeters width, either the automatic reference PAM 00620 at $10,000 retail, or maybe even the manual wine PAM 00574 with an MSRP of $7,600. But with any watch purchase, especially at these price levels, I also want to try the item on my wrist, so I can ensure that the watch feels good and looks appropriate for my personal likes. I'll try to visit a local AD to see what I think in person. I'll let you know about that. Now, if you like these types of brand overviews, I suggest you click on the other video I recently published. I'll be making more of these, so consider subscribing. And as always, I'll see you in my next video.